Sellers, I understand how nerve-wracking it can be to wonder what can go wrong during the sale of my home because those what if scenarios can keep you up at night. I have had 4 personal properties, 3 investment properties, and every single time that we have gone to sell, I'm not kidding you, I have been a ball of nerves. So today we are going to review some of the what if scenarios that can come up for you as a seller when you're on the market here in North Carolina and specifically in this triangle area. Let's start with, what if I didn't price my house right and I sit on the market? Or what if nobody comes to see my house? Or what if they come to see it and they hate it? Let's just take those one at a time. Number one, we are going to use lots of market data, analyze it from top to bottom, left and right, and all around before we price your home. I'm going to give you my best estimate of where I think you should list, but I'm going to tell you it is up to you as the seller to ultimately choose the list price. My advice will be based on data many times. My sellers overprice based on emotions. You need to take the emotion out of this. I understand that in many scenarios, you need a certain amount in order to break even or get what it is that you want out of the home. But I have to remind you, what you need and what you want may not always match market data at that moment. The market decides what your house will be purchased at, not you. So please understand that I'm going to do everything in my power to give you the advice to price your house properly. What if it's priced too high? The market's going to tell us right away with either people not coming to see the house at all because it's overpriced, or when they come, them giving us the feedback right away, it's overpriced. There you go. So the next thing is, what if nobody comes to see my home? That is actually a real scenario. Before you got on the market and now nobody's even making any showings. That's a really good indicator right there that the home is overpriced. Or, and this isn't going to be the case for me because I use a phenomenal photographer. Maybe your photos just don't look good. Maybe you chose not to take the advice to stage your house. Maybe when you did stage your house, you use more of your items rather than a stager's items, and they're not appealing in the photos to the larger public that is buying right now. Those are real scenarios. You have to get the photos right from the beginning. Those photos online, those are the first impression that every buyer is going to have of your home. Yes, you can change them down the road, but remember, you really only get one chance to make a first impression. Now, if that's the case, we are going to take the house off the market, reprice it, restage it, take more photos, and put it back on the market to make a fresh, new impression. Then what if they come to the house and everybody is giving me negative comments? We need to listen to those negative comments. We need to take that information and figure it, is this something I can change? For example, am I able to paint that wall that I absolutely refused to paint before because I liked it black, but maybe now the buyers don't like it black? Or is it something that I can't change, such as a sloped backyard, a sloped driveway, and so forth? We need to analyze what can be done and what can't be done and focus our energy in the right area and not dwell on the things we can't change. When you do have a scenario of your backyard is sloped, your driveway is sloped, or something like that, well, you're going to have to take that into consideration when pricing the home, especially if it is a competitive situation in which many homes are on the market that don't have those features. It could potentially really affect your value. So I understand it's nothing that can be changed, but you need to also understand as the seller that what if we have to play it into potentially the price, or we have to use other types of incentives to get the buyers to move on your home. Okay. And those incentives really come from working with a preferred lender who can offer other types of things to the buyers if they choose to use that lender. That's really an important thing to be sure that your agent has a partner lender who can offer incentives. I do. That's why you want to list with me. Now, The other thing that people who are selling, what if their inspection report comes back with something horrible? You are the seller in North Carolina, and that means you are not obligated to fix anything. That sounds a little crazy, but it's actually true. Now, my sellers often are very, very kind and either give some credit towards repairs or choose to make those repairs or a combination of both. So, you as the seller, if something horrible comes back, you're going to have to decide in your heart how it is that you want to move forward. Are you obligated to do anything? No. Would it be nice of you to do something? Yes. Would it be in your best interest many times to do something to bring this to the closing? Because two things, you don't want to go back on the market with that negative thing that came up on the inspection report. And number two, if you do have to go back on, you're either going to have to disclose it or repair it. So it is in your best interest as a seller to make this specific transaction work by either giving a credit or doing the repair. So my advice to my sellers is, let's get this to the closing table. Let's negotiate the best scenario on that inspection report. And then my sellers are often worried about, what if the house doesn't appraise? Well, have to be honest with you, it is actually not your problem because it was the buyer's choice to pay that amount for the home if they paid over the list price. And if they did, and there is an appraisal gap where the lender said that they will lend to and what they've offered, it is the buyer's obligation to bring extra money to the table to make up that gap. It is not your obligation as a seller to lower the price to meet the appraisal value. If you choose to do so, that's your choice, but you are not obligated to do so in North Carolina. Then we also worry as sellers all the time, what if they don't go to closing? Buyers in North Carolina have the right to terminate the contract at any time, even at the closing table, for any reason or no reason at all. And you can't sue them in North Carolina as the seller to move forward with the purchase. The only thing that you can do at that point is put the house back on the market. I am not telling you that this happens very often here in North Carolina. In fact, I really haven't had that happen once, but you just know that you as a seller in North Carolina cannot sue the buyer to move forward with the purchase. There you have it. So a lot of different what if scenarios that I know can keep a seller up at night. Hopefully, going through this, we have calmed your nerves a little bit. When I am your agent, I am going to be there beside you every step of the way, prepping the home for the photos and the visits, making sure that we have priced it right, always analyzing the data when you are on the market so that you get the best price for your home that the market is telling us they will pay for your home. I will be there every step of the way, helping you with those inspection reports and the appraisal values that come in. And the other thing that I'm going to do, let me back up for a moment. When it comes to the appraisal, as your listing agent, I am going to give the appraiser all of the upgrades and all of the information about your home that you've done to help that buyer's appraisal value. So I'm going to go that extra step and make sure that I'm also protecting them and you by giving all of that information. It's just helpful. Why not be helpful? All right, so I hope that this video has helped you. Please like and subscribe, share it with anybody who is getting ready to sell their home in North Carolina. Let's take those what if scenarios and calm them down a little bit. And be sure to watch this video next that tells you a little bit more about the 10 things you can do to prep your home for sale here in North Carolina. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.